Anybody there? Oh, it's on? Kind of. Good morning, boys and girls. How we all doing? How we doing? It's Thursday. It's weird because it's Thursday, but yet it feels like it's the end of the week for me, and it's not. And I've got shit to do. We've had some updates. We've had some changes. Quite the beta build. Yes, we are going to explore. I did have a peruse through the Discord earlier today. As Team NA, boy, you are talkative while I'm in bed. Yeah, we've had a beta update. There's some changes. It looks like they've done a bit of a sweep on some of the professions in terms of how they level up. So, literally the day before I go on vacation for a week, my entire guide is out of date. But we will rectify that ASAP. No problems. I suppose, should we just address the elephant in the room straight away? The elephant in the room being the treasures. Treasure Shuffle is dead. The Shuffle is not dead. You are still going to highly prioritize getting artisan security and as much of it as you possibly can, as fast as you can. But even if you do aggressively sweaty, degenerate things, you might push yourself a week ahead of somebody who doesn't, instead of 4 weeks ahead, which I think is a significant win. I had some. I've had people on both sides of the fence on that one. Oh, are you happy now? And oh, thank God this has changed. So it's like I've annoyed some people and I've made some people's day. Welcome to the world of content creation. I jumped on my BM Hunter and had to add another bar just to cover the bloat. Holy cow. I don't min-max my specs. Even though I do play a BM Hunter day in, day out, I play a BM Hunter because it's straightforward and it's simple, and I can actually push most things into a passive, so I don't have to worry about it. I play BM Hunter in easy mode. If you are playing it min-maxy, yes, your bars are going to be full of buttons, from what I'm led to believe. But probably still less than some other classes, so... Yeah, we're going to... You may notice that Hunt Master Manthe is now part of the guild No Refunds. Any of you guys who were in the stream last night, I don't usually do evening streams, but on a Wednesday I'll make an exception because it's reset day. We managed to get the guild set up yesterday. We put it to a vote. There was a short list of, I think, 5 guild names, and the one that came out on top was No Refunds. So No Refunds is born. My long-term goal for this, short-term, it will take a little bit of time and effort to get set up, but my long-term goal for this is for it to be an EU region-wide crafters guild. Something that we've never really seen before, never really had the need for before, never really had the desire to try and do before. Now guilds have gone cross-realm. Oi, dance, you little fox. Now guilds have gone cross-realm, plus we have cross-realm guild orders. There's use for something like this, I believe, and I think I'm in a pretty strong position to get the ball rolling. I'm sure there'll be big-name guilds out there that'll put 2 and 2 together, and they'll start doing work orders for people cross-realms, but, like, you know, we've got to start somewhere, you know? You're still going to want one alt for each tool, so all blue items week 1 still becomes a thing. I mean, yeah, there's still a reward for those people who play the game more, but it's not at the detriment of individual characters so much. People misunderstood my take on that, I think. I think people didn't realize that I don't dislike the fact that there can be degenerate playstyle. I'm not against working harder to get a better result. What I'm against is having to drop 2 decades worth of recipes on my main to feel like I can play the game in an optimal way. That's what I didn't particularly like. Now, there is the argument that, yeah, the first time craft bonuses, shuffling professions, that's still a thing, but that's a sweaty advantage, and I'm not convinced you're going to get much more than like 300, 400 artisan security out of that. Not 1,400. It's a significant difference between the two. So, yeah, you are still probably going to want alts when you're... Well, hello. When you are looking at getting your profession tools in, you want to get them at blue, you want to get them in nice and early, and you want to give yourself the chance, at least. The point is with this, is it's not really mandatory day one, but it's definitely something you're going to want to try and do before the season starts. You are going to want to have these, you know, at top quality where possible. If you have early access, you're obviously going to have a little bit more time to prep and plan and prepare for this. If you go, you know, if you dive straight in, then you'll have a little bit less time, but we'll see. We'll see. I used to use the one pet, but now they force you into 2 pets to get the good stuff. I mean, there's a BM hunter. That's the design, though, isn't it? You can't argue about having more pets as a BM hunter, honestly. But yeah, there's still room for people to put more effort in and get more out of it. But the distance ahead they can get is significantly reduced with the treasures being nerfed, which I think is only a good thing for the overall player base. The entire system was designed around you chipping away at it. You are limited to the amount of materials you have available to use initially, and everybody's meant to be limited to a similar amount of those materials. It's a bottleneck material by design. It doesn't work very well as a bottleneck material if some people can get quite literally 4 times what others can get in the first week. So it's it was a change I felt was necessary. You know, I put my thoughts out there and Blizzard agreed. You know, what am I going to do? Warband is still not banking. Is it still switched off, is it? I suspect it's going to be off a while. I've not checked this out, but I'm also led to believe that whilst the beta is back up, not the leveling realms. Apparently the leveling realms are still switched off, which is very interesting to me. The fact that they've kept the leveling realms off on the beta means there is some pretty significant problems with the warbank. My suspicion is that they are too closely linked, and what goes in one was showing up on the other, or vice versa. I suspect that was potentially an issue. That your warbank from the beta, because on the beta, the leveling realms are connected to each other. There's 3 leveling realms. They're all connected together. And I reckon there are some ties between the leveling realms on the beta and your retail version of the warbank. Probably because it's the same, you know, it's the same code for the most part. The beta runs predominantly off the retail client. I think there's some spaghetti code that's wiggling between the two, and they need to cut those ties before they can make it actually go live, which is quite funny. My warband bank on retail is showing a 2-hour cooldown. It should be 4 hours. Does it matter? You can't get to it. This thing, 2-hour cooldown. And withdrawals and deposits for 10 minutes. There's a way to reduce this, and I can't remember what it is as well. What is it? It's leveling more characters, I thought. I'm pretty sure it was leveling more characters. Was it not along with... You can probably see the achievements. Character achievements. Was it not nested into this one? Once you get a couple more characters leveled, is it the 2nd or 3rd character where it starts reducing your war bank distance inhibitor button. Can't remember. No, but it means the beta and retail are linked. Oh, right, I see. Yeah, because I've got a couple of characters leveled on beta. Do some people have this showing as 4 hours right now? Sorry, you can't even see what I'm talking about. It's behind my camera. This button here, your warband bank distance inhibitor, is it 4 hours for some people? Because it shows 2 hours for me, and that's because I've leveled some characters on the beta. Have you seen that the engineer NPC already sells scrap? Yeah, it's programmed so it's a limited commodity. If somebody buys it, nobody else can, and it turns up occasionally. It's kind of like the vendor for the pummel permit. I didn't realize this when we spoke about the engineering mount, but people obviously are unaware about how some of the vendors work with limited time items. If on a, I can't find a good example of it right now, probably. But when you go to a vendor and it has a quantity number in the brackets, let's see if we can find one. Example.
I know a buyer when I see one.
Engineering supplies. So yeah, like this, for example. When there's this little 4 in the corner, that means if I buy these, nobody else can. These are only here until somebody buys them. So if I went and bought these now, you see the number goes down. And if I buy another one and another one and another one, then they're out of stock. Now if somebody else comes along, they can't buy these. This is how limited items in vendors work. So there'll be some things occasionally, which means that, you know, one player who speaks to the vendor at the right time might find something. There's many, well, I wouldn't say many, but there's quite a few like really old school recipes that are linked behind vendors on limited quantities. But yeah, having 4 pieces of scrap on there doesn't make a difference. Does the bank timer depend on the max level of characters? Mine says 2 hours. I have no beta characters. Mine was 3 hours yesterday. I can't remember what the TLDR with this is. I'm pretty sure it's got something to do with the amount of max level characters you have. Warband bank distance inhibitor. Should we find out? I can't honestly remember. We have probably got a lot of WoW heading to do today, by the way. There won't be huge amounts of gameplay, I don't think, today. I'm playing catch up a little bit with a beta build and bowling down, honestly, because vacation starts tomorrow. What's that? What's it called? It's got a stupidly long name and I can never remember what it's called. Warband bank distance inhibitor. There we go. Cooldown starts at 4 hours. More ults at cap will reduce it. I believe 5 turns it into only 2 hours. We not get any actual confirmed how the hell it works. Oh, okay, they've even changed it. The warband map to everywhere all at once has been put on the... I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's yeah, see, this by default says 4 hours. comments on this one. Warband Bank Inhibitor has a 2-hour cooldown per character and can only be accessed by one at a time. Once used, it will be active for 10 minutes. Oh. Oh. So once again, another article that's been posted by Wowhead with actually no information in it whatsoever. Or not the information that people would actually look for. I dare look at this. Is this going to tell me any different? You can definitely reduce the cooldown on it. Because it was a big point of contention when they added it to the game. That people were like, 4 hours? Even here it says as a 2-hour cooldown and can only be accessed by one license at a time. I'm pretty sure there's a way to reduce the cooldown on it. I'm almost convinced there is. Or should I say, at least there once was. Maybe that's the thing. At least there once was. Maybe they've adjusted it and made it just 2 hours as a compromise. I don't know. Good morning, Zan. Welcome in. Welcome. It's the achievement Quintessential Quintet that reduces the cooldown. Oh, okay. Well, see, there we go. There's the solid news I needed. Quintessential... I can't spell that. I can't spell. Quintessential Quintet, that one. Reach maximum level with 5 different classes. Reduce the cooldown on the Warband Bank. Distance inhibitor. Yeah, there we go. My recent comments. Reduced cooldown on Warbank distance inhibitor. Maybe it's maybe 2 hours is the minimum then. Dynamic duo, terrific trio, quintessential quintet. So by the time you've got 5 max level characters, it'll be down to 2 hours. That still feels I mean, I guess I'm just thinking from a crafter perspective, rotating through your crafters. Is that on a per character basis as well? If I place it on one character and then log off and then log on to another character, can I place it again? If it's a 2-hour cooldown per character, I don't mind. If it's an account-wide one, I'm not particularly a fan. 2 hours cooldown. There's my bank. It's being used by somebody else. Log out. Log out. Log in with somebody else. Characters do have separate cooldowns. Oh, well, that's great then. That's absolutely fine. That's absolutely solid. Lag. Lag, no bars. Options, interface, action bars, that one, that one, that one, that one. Probably that one. I've realised having all of my bars down in the bottom left-hand corner really gets in the way of my little Spotify thing. The Spotify thing can just... Oh, I don't know. It's weird how I set my... I try to set my UI up so that it also looks good on. Where's me new button for... Where do I get the button in the first place? There we go. Yeah, separate 2-hour cooldown by the looks of things. That's cool. That's cool. We can live with that. Happy, happy. Happy, 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 happy. Oh my god, the amount of people that are not happy with this, though. Woo! Spicy meatball. I feel some people's pain, though. There are some people out there that clearly have the same character name on, like, 20 different servers. And if they're all the same class and they're all the same level, it's basically impossible to figure out which character's which. Because you can't use the search bar for the realm name. Which is like, okay, sure. What's the difference between a warband bank versus a guild bank? Well, a guild bank is available to everybody in your guild. Your war bank is only available to you. Nobody else has access to it. But it's shared across all of your characters. So it's your personal space, whereas the guild bank is a semi-public storage space. And the warband is actually currently available to nobody. Yes, yeah. And that. Of the same class, the same race, the same name on several different servers, even the same looks as well. Yeah. I know there's a lot of people that are not happy with this list. Now, people don't like change. I've lived on the internet for long enough to understand people don't like change. As soon as anything changes, you know, you could take somebody out of a shithole house and put them into a 5-star hotel, and they'll be like, I don't like this, it's different. There are some people that are just naturally averse to change. Human nature is that we're not particularly great with change from the word go, but there is definitely some people that have got a real problem with this being on a massive, great big list. And I'm going to go out there and say the scale of this is huge. I don't need these massive, great big, like, it. My one feedback is, like, give me a low-profile version that just has, like, character name, realm name. Like, you can shrink it down, fit all of this info on one line. Even make it a little bit wider, but put all of it on one line, squish everything up for those of us that have millions of characters. I want a low-profile version of this. This feels like Grandad's first mobile phone, kind of like, like, look at the size of my mouse compared to the size of the button. Why does it need to be? Some people have like basically said it looks like a mobile phone interface, and I kind of agree. I saw somebody thanking Blizzard for making all kinds of things in the UI huge because we're all getting older and our eyesight isn't as great as it used to be. Yeah, I don't object to, like, big mode, but there should also be, I mean, I wear glasses for a reason. There should also be a small person mode. Shrink it down. Give us a more, I mean, can you even change the UI scale from here? This is going to change everything, though, isn't it? What if we go... Oh. Even at 65% UI scale... Do we see more characters there? Slightly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 characters. As opposed to... Oh, it's definitely different, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, it shrinks it from 8 to 9. There just needs to be a second option for this, like a low-profile version. Because I do agree, it's a bit wham. It's a bit unnecessarily large. I'd never really given it much thought on the beta because I have like 5 characters and I don't care. But when you suddenly realise you've got 20, 30 characters and they're all named the same thing and like they're all the same level and they're all the same class, I really don't need to see the word gear update on every single flipping character as well. That's just a waste of space. Sure, but you make the gear update an icon. Put the tiny little icon in the little corner. You hover over it and it says, boom, pop up. It's Just Blizzard are just bad at UI. Gunborn Greg, what a name. Oh yeah, I suppose you get to see all of my character names now, don't you? Yeah, I like alliteration in my names for some reason. Humble Butt. Caffeine Club. Bezo Bucks. Donut Balls. Sydney Sausage. So we don't have a war bank. Let's peruse whatever the news is. Let's play catch up a little bit while I get some coffee in me. Beta only has these go to 11 servers at the moment. Yeah, I'm convinced the leveling realms are down because they're too intrinsically linked with the warbank, and they're slowly running through all of the spaghetti code with scissors, cutting the ties between the two. I'm almost convinced of it. That's not a bad thing though, because there's a couple of things I want to go check out on the professions as well. They've tweaked and tuned a few things. Jewel crafting has had a leveling balance pass. I think Alchemy's had one as well. They're the ones I know of from people commenting to me. There's likely another couple that have changed. Pre-patch basically only brought in the transmog changes and the new talent trees. For most classes, ret paladins. Unless you're a ret paladin, you just got screwed. I don't know how they do that. How did ret paladins get the short end of that stick? Whoops. My 24 warlocks are in alphabetical order, simples. Until you log out, that was the problem people had. Until you log out, and you log back in, and then they're all in a different order again. Tailoring's the same for leveling, but they've fixed all the spec nodes. Can you actually unlock them all now? There was one on the right-hand side of the tree where you could only unlock 2 of the 3. Have they fixed that? That was really silly. My main is a Ret Paladin. Oh, Rip Jack. Rip the Dipper. Oh dear. Jack the Ripper. Haha. No clue why they had to give the Rets and Shamans the old talent trees. Oh well. Oh, so they have fixed that. Oh, and they've changed alloys a bit. See, there's plenty of stuff we should go and have a little bit of a look at on the test servers. Although I don't want to dive too deep into that because I'm desperately trying to like tie up loose ends before I go away for a few days. GameSpot, Warband, and Hero Talents interview with Blizzard. Is this going to expose anything we don't already know? Oh, it's about 4 lines long. Wow, good interview. That's not an interview, that's a tweet. Okay. Classic. Cross-realm trading temporarily disabled. So many issues. Well, cross-realm trading, one reason I think it's temporarily disabled was the fact that it was insta-disconnecting players and locking them in, like, timeout mode, which is usually triggered by Warden detecting activity that shouldn't happen. Also known as there's completely fucked up code somewhere and they need to fix it again. So yeah, lots. Realistically, we've had a pre-patch and not really anything works. Not really anything works, but we knew this was going to happen. I said weeks ago that pre-patch is going to be a shit show. To be honest, I'm kind of glad I'm going away for a few days because then by the time I come back next week on Wednesday, hopefully all of this will be finished. Everybody will have access to the warbank. Cross-realm trading will work. The guild will have lots of people in it, and they'll, you know, it will all be wonderful and it'll all be fantastic. Or I'll come back and everything's still on fire, and then it'll have something to do with the actual event. Well, yeah, I mean, they clearly knew, didn't they? They clearly knew that this was going to go really badly when they first pressed the go button, because they even delayed the event starting a week so that they give themselves, 168 hours to fix it before the next problem turns up. We identified an issue that requires us to disable it. Okay, cool. Thanks, Blizz. Got that. Got it. War Within pre-patch hotfix. Hunter nerfs. What do you mean Hunter nerfs? Oh, we have day 1 nerfs. Day 1 nerfs. Are you mad? Season 3 class set Bestial Wrath summoning a Dire Beast no longer grants a stack of Huntmasters. Cool. Bestial Wrath Dire Beast summon duration reduced to 10 seconds, was 15. Haiti pet damage buff reduced to 6% from 8. Okay. Why do they bother? Why are you bothering? Let them have their 5 minutes. Honestly. Boomlabs, I was about to shout at you for self-promoting, and then I saw your name. Oh, I now live stream on Twitch and YouTube. Yeah. Jack's been in there playing with some of the timers and commands. Smart way of doing it, actually. BM was doing 750k single target DPS. Who cares? Who cares? Like, honestly, right now, who cares? I mean, BMs care, and everybody else just gets salty. It's the last 4 weeks of an expansion. Who cares? If you haven't got your shit done by now, then, well, maybe put 12 BM hunters in your raid and go kill some shit. Don't bitch about it. Use it to your advantage. Using a character boost, a race change, or a faction change no longer disqualifies the character from doing the Heritage Armor quests. Ha! Heritage Armor, pay to win. Literally pay to win Heritage Armor. GG Blizzard, well done. Got to make that bread. Got to make that bread. I saw 17 BM hunters doing Mythic Rage yesterday, killing bosses in 45 seconds. Cool. I think that stuff at the end of an expansion is just funny. Just let people have fun. There's 4 weeks, and 4 weeks until the launch of a new expansion. We're technically in. Look, the game says the War Within now. If people are breaking shit in Dragonflight, so be it. Waste developers' time rebalancing class sets. Day 1 nerfs. Just get out of here. Outrageous behaviour. Fix the damn warband. That's funny though. I might actually get some of the Heritage Armor stuff now. Might actually get it now if I can just use some of the race changes and faction changes and level 60 character boosts that I've saved up over the years. Don't want to spec all of my characters. Oh, I just hit start a build and then press go. That will at least allow you to go do a world quest or 2 without thinking about it. Tweak when you actually want to play and want to get some better gear under your belt. I'm a bit cynical this morning, ain't I? Jesus, I've clearly I don't know what's in my coffee. Right, War Within beta development notes. These are the ones I wanted. Should actually probably check this on. In fact, thinking about this, why don't we just go straight to MMO Champion? Ones who actually do it properly. Rather than breaking it all down into individual little articles for you to sift through. Season of Discovery changes. Here we go. New items. What we like to do, actually, is filter out the items from a specific build. What's this build? 789. Probably the one at the bottom. 789. Let's check out the new items that are added. Cache of Delver's Spoils. Hero piece of equipment. 597. 597. There's mutters, there's talks floating around the internets of Sweaty McSweatersons at the beginning of the War Within hardcore farming delves because they have a suspicion that the like your, should we say, pre-raid bis is likely to come from delves, which is funny. How by design that is or not, be interesting to see. Avery's spare belts. Whole new set of just level 70 gear. Okay. Level 70, 545 item level gear. I've just clocked the stats on those and the level and the item level. That's outrageous. My hunter would like that entire set, please. In fact, all of my hunters would love that set, please. Oh, you know what this is? No, you know what this is? You know what this is, don't you? I can tell you exactly what this is. This is remix gear. This is level 70 remix tunes. Now, this could be your gear. There's a strong chance that this ends up being your remix gear if you have 476 item level remix characters. That's very likely what it's going to be. No shot it's going to be 545 though. The item level does seem a little high. Does seem a little high since you usually ding level 80 in that kind of gear. 530, 525 I think is roughly where you should expect to ding level 80. So yeah, 545 is a touch high. But this set of gear could very easily be what they dish out to all of your... Because it's a complete set for all everything. It's a one of everything set of gear. Flame. Then there's a second set of everything at item level 400. Lamplighter's Hallowfall, though. True, it is thematically. Maybe it's just a. It's because it's all bind on pickup though. It's kind of like what I'd expect to pop out of a box on a character boost kind of thing, you know? I mean, item level 400 at level 70 is still not great, is it? You ain't gonna... So the item levels are clearly wackadoodle here. Maybe it's just 2 sets. I don't know. Well, it's an entire new set to collect for everybody. 400 feels pretty piss poor, yet 545 seems OP. But it's one of everything. One of everything twice. So, I guess we'll find out. I've got a strong suspicion that could be remix tunes though. Rock Slide Shake. Okay. New cooking recipe. Gigantic Gerlock. Wasn't that a... Hang on, wasn't that a trading post one at some point? That's not new, is it? No, wasn't that the 12... What's the name of the 12-month sub big hooning great big sub reward one? It's going to be the same but a recolor. No, clearly doesn't like that. Most likely to be tied to the next 12-month subscription as per previous Gerlock mounts. Yeah, I think I'm led to believe the same. In-game shop. Look, there we go. It's even got the in-game shop tag on it. So yeah, that's going to be a new store one. Boo. Boo. Okay, not really much else in terms of new items. Ooh! Please note that the sphere behind the login form might not be intended. Login screen may not be finalized. Wow! Might they be actually changing the login screen because everybody's said this is too boring? Oh my god. I mean, I guess it looks better. Obviously, get this bit out the middle. Oh, they've already changed it on beta, have they? Hang on. The update. Okay. Do it again. Do it again. Well, no beta for me. Fuck this game. Lordy, lordy, lord. No beta for me. Log out of one before we log into the other in case it's just having a heart attack. Come back after holiday, everything will be better, I promise. Oh, I mean, it better be. Okay, now it seems to be doing something. Waiting on another update? What else is updating? What are you doing? Go. Do all of it. I have internet for days. Do all of it. Might be a new auction house mount on the shop. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Rip my BattleNet balance if that was the case. Why can you still character transfer? Black market auction house. Sport the long boy, don't do this to me. 10 mil well spent. 10 mil well spent. Oh dear God. Oh dear God. It's not happy, is it? Okay. Okay. BattleNet's also completely donkeyed. Right, you finish doing your thing. Update available. Update available. It's not even tagged me as being online in Battle.net right now. It's the whole thing's gone Pete Tong. Okay, let's play it safe. Back to the news. Okay, achievement changes. Oh, they've changed the wording of the Pathfinder achievement. Steady flight unlocked in Kazalgar, rather than just saying unlock steady flight. Some people have... Oh my god, the discourse around flying drives me absolutely up the wall. Some people have said that there are players that have come back to the game who have not played in Dragonflight. And due to not playing in Dragonflight, they've never like unlocked dragon riding even ever. Yet they've loaded into their characters and they don't have the switch button. And they obviously have without making a brand new character and unlocking it. It's just weird. It's just odd. It's This is why now I'm not gonna put myself in strong favor with everybody by saying this, but this is why they just need to get rid of the old style of flying. Get rid of it. If they take it away completely, sure, a few people will like scream and shout, "Oh, it's an accessibility thing." It's really not. It's a video game. Relax. Just get rid of the old flying. Quite literally, just get rid of the old flying and then all of these problems go away. The fact that Blizzard try and sit on the fence and try and please everybody is why they end up just annoying twice as many people. Just get rid of it. Just out with the old. This is the new version of transportation. Job done. Get rid of Dragonflight. Well, I mean, that's a bit harsh. But it's just, make everything dynamic flight or whatever they call it these days. Soul even leveled. Didn't Soul level from 70 to 80 without flying? He did it all on foot. So the content is there for you still. It's not a problem. Dragon riding is the best addition to the game for ages, not counting warbands. Imagine actually playing a game that's not just AFKing into the fatigue areas. I'm convinced they should just get rid of the old flying completely. Just nuke it. Get it gone. Like they've got, sure, they'll have a small transitional period where not all of the mounts fly when theoretically they probably should. But just get rid of the old flying. See you later. Yeet it out there. This is the new way you get from A to B by flying. Get rid of old flying, but make it so that you can use bullet time to land on a damn branch. I love that idea. Yes. Go all Max Payne on it. Get bullet time on the go. So you slow down time as you come in so you can more carefully... That's what actual birds and stuff do. Flies. They see things in such detail at such a high, refresh rate. I don't know what you'd actually call it, but they can. That's why they're so accurate in how they fly and can be so fast. Slows down the whole server when used. That would be funny. It would look odd seeing somebody do it, but... Birds have bullet time? What was in your coffee? I don't know. Maybe I should check. Check it's not been laced with something. Clearly not enough caffeine. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. So were these what? Just spell changes? Death Knight spell changes? Flipping hell, they've turned Death Knights upside down. This is because of all the tank stuff, isn't it? Lord have mercy. Druids. Hunter stuff. Mage. I really, 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 really wish they'd put all the class changes at the bottom. I have to scroll through all of the class changes every time to find the stuff that comes after it. Then there may or may not be anything after it. Is it because it's in alphabetical order? Is that why class changes like always come in the middle? I don't know. Priest changes, just a wall of text. Well, have you not seen Arms Warrior? It's like, okay. Yeah, in fact, that is a wall of text. Oh dear. Whoops. Good luck reading that. String changes. Ineligible for party? You cannot join your party's tier. Ah. So that puts a little bit of a hamstring on the boosting side of things for delves. That you are going to have to unlock them, at least in order by the looks of things. You can't join in a party of somebody doing 5 tiers higher than you just to get the progress. You have unclaimed rewards returned to your Great Vault. You cannot join your tier delve. Oh, this person can't join your delve. Same error, but for 2 different people. You can't trade an item from the Warband Bank. Ah. That's clearly come about from people trying to do weird stuff. They're opening their Warband Bank, and then they're doing a face-to-face trade, and they're dragging from the Warband Bank into the trade window. Okay, it's little things like that that most normal people might not necessarily think to do, but that is exactly the kind of shit that causes dupes. Because the game code is all of a sudden like, oh, I don't know where I'm putting this, and so it just makes a second one. Harmonized silk charges at the catalyst. Okay. Hoping to stumble across all the spell changes for the professions. But I'm starting to think there might not be any. Means we're going to have to find them ourselves. Bagnon still broken for everybody. I think a lot of the bag add-ons are completely toast. I can't even log in, so I'm shit out of luck from every direction. I'm just gonna have to nuke Battle.net, I think. Turn it back on in a minute. This is something, you know, the Stone Vault mech suit. This might put heavy issues on, because this is a reskin of the view in 3D. Look, so this is just a reskin of the Crowd Pummeler, which, if you're going to be able to get a reskin really goddamn easy, that almost instant, not even just a recolor, even worse, not even a reskin, just a straight up recolor is I mean, it's one thing to use the same like mesh, but to actually just recolors puts a bit of a dent in the desire for people to spend up to 3 million gold on the engineering one. And it looks nicer. Obviously, there's always that as well. Comes literally from a quest. Repurposed, restored zone, the Ringing Deeps. Okay. Play game, are you? Wowhead search is terrible, by the way. I don't know. Whatever. Swarmite Sky Hunter. Kazangar Glyph Hunter. Oh, another one of these. Got a wiggly tail, look. A wiggly butt. Ah, these are the original Blizzard ones. So there was not actually even... Oh, haha, here's the sneaky item. Here's the sneaky 2 lines that I was kind of looking for. Remove the artisan security from the one-time outdoor profession treasures, so crafters are still able to start with relatively the same amount of acuity to begin their crafting journey. 200 artisan security has been added to the starter reagent bags from the quest Crafting to Order in Dornogal. The only thing I hope now is that the Crafting to Order is not something you can rinse and repeat. Because there was definitely a time on beta where you could repeat the Crafting to Order quest for every profession. You could just drop the profession, pick the profession up, and do the relevant Crafting to Order. I'm hoping they make it just what I don't know. They gotta make sure they don't. Otherwise, it's just the same in reverse. It's just you just don't have to collect the treasures. So hopefully they've made that quest like once per character. It'll just be the same, but even easier if that's the case. Exactly, yeah. They're like, oh, okay, sure. We'll just save you 20 minutes of flying around picking them up. But yeah, this is meant to make up for the fact that, you know, because there is 8, where's my fingers? 8 treasures, 2... Hang on. What was the numbers you would get on one character naturally anyway? 8 treasures, 2 professions, 15 artisan security per treasure. So yeah, you're 40 artisan security worse off. But it removes a lot of the degen of some people getting over 1,000 artisan security head start, which there's no other way to paint that picture other than just straight up saying it's unfair. So it was clearly the right thing to do to remove it. So there is still things that you can do as a crafter to nudge yourself out an advantage. You can still work harder and gain more, which I'm absolutely fine with. I'm absolutely fine if people want to work significantly harder whilst also integrating with the economy, right? This is the thing. This was one of the things what I didn't like about the treasure. One thing was the fact I didn't like the fact that I felt obliged to like drop and pick up professions, which isn't really something I'm willing to do because of 2 decades of recipe collection. But the other aspect of it was that it was completely free. It like made it an absolutely no-brainer choice to do. At least rotating through the professions and doing the first-time craft shuffle, what's more referred to as just the profession shuffle, that's going to cost you gold. So it's an active choice to whether you do it or not. It comes at a cost, whereas the treasures had 0 cost other than the time it took you to do it, which in the scale of things farmed it so it's free. There's a cost because you are going to have to buy copious amounts of materials. You're also going to have to buy those copious amounts of materials early in the expansion when they're at their most expensive. So your shopping list to actually rotate through all of the professions to get those first time craft bonuses and maybe do your first NPC orders or whatever, that's not cheap. That's going to be really expensive for some people to do. So there's like there's a reward versus whatever you spend on doing that is some amount of cost that you're going to have to hope to be able to regenerate back by keeping your nose a little bit further ahead of the competition. And even if you do all of the sweaty degenerate stuff, you're not weeks ahead, you're like days ahead. So I think in that regard, it still rewards people who want to do min-max to the 10th degree at a cost, because you could say, right, well, I'm not going to do this, but instead I'm going to spend the first few days farming materials, and I'm going to sell those materials to all of the people that are doing sweaty degenerate things at a premium, because they have to do all of that first. They have to do that first before they can level their actual profession that they plan to keep. So I have no issues against that level of degeneracy if you choose to do it. But that's the point. It should be a choice. And if you choose to do it, it should offer a tangible benefit to yourself, but also, you know, others around you. The fact that picking up treasures and is just free, and it would get you about 4 weeks head start, clearly needed to change. Limitation to 2 professions is outdated. I partly agree, but I don't entirely agree. I partly agree from the standpoint of that I would love one day to be able to do everything on one character. If I want to just play my hunter and I want to have 8 crafting professions on the go with my hunter and I juggle all of that, I would happily do that. Leveling alts to have those other professions is just busy work. It's not a restriction anymore. Back in 2004, it would take you 60 to 100 hours to level 1 character to max so that you could have 2 professions at max. Meant that those 2 professions was maybe the only 2 professions you would ever have access to, because you weren't willing to level another character for 60 to 100 hours, add 2 more to your repertoire. Nowadays, though, you can level a level 70 in 2 hours on Remix. It's just busy work that you just have to do. So, and there is something to be said for being able to spread it out across a couple of characters anyway. You know, inventory management, this sort of stuff. A little bit less so with things like the Warbank now, but gathering should be baseline. And I've been stating such for years now. I agree that everybody should have access to all of the gathering professions. I don't see any reason why everybody shouldn't have access to those. and then have the crafting professions be something that you pick 2 of. What were the ways you could transfer currencies? I'm not sure I understand the question. A few days I can deal with. That was almost expected with the 3-day head start. People getting in with early access anyway. It's the weeks ahead. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it doesn't seem fair that some people have a way to get quite literally 4 weeks head start, and there's no even possibility. Let's say, for example, you start the War Within and you go and level up your profession, and then you see some dude on YouTube tell you that if you if you go and collect all the treasures first, then you get 4 weeks head start, but you've already leveled your profession. So now you're in a position where you can't rightly do that, even if you choose to. Because you can't go back. If you've already taken the steps forward to level your profession, you can't then drop them, gather all of the treasures, and then start back where you were before. Like it's just messy. It's messy and clearly unintended, so it's of no surprise they fixed it. I thought you could send and pull currencies, but I only see a pull option. Oh, no, I think it's just, poor use of the English language. It's often phrased as you can send currencies between your characters. Send us in, take it from me and give it to you. But the reality is you're actually pulling the currencies from those alts to the character that you choose to have it on. It's a pull. You're pulling the characters from your alts onto the character that you choose to have the one on. It's just colloquially in English, we will just say send currency between characters, even though it's not actually sending. Realized that it was one way today also. Yeah, I think it was it's just unfortunate silly English, really. On these go to 11 realm, delves may be inaccessible to players. But they've also turned delves off in a bunch of places as well. Wow, it's really cooked at Blizzard HQ right now, isn't it? It's proper toast. Okay, let's see if the game will let me even log in. This usually throws up passwords and flipping government names and all sorts of stuff. So let me just switch screens temporarily. I'm not actually gone. I'm just restarting Battle.net. Please hold. Please hold, please hold. Right. You gonna let me in this time? Are you gonna let me in? Thinking about it. Thinking about it. Aha. Oh, cool, look. Shiny. Yeah, this flipping great big ball in the middle needs to go away, but... So yeah, purely the testing leveling the 11 realm only. Sure, I can live with that. We need to do some stuff here anyway. I guess we need to pick one and just start. Somebody was saying that Jewel Crafting's had a revision. And maybe I start with Jewel Crafting. Yeah, I have a few hunters. Just a couple. Wasn't the warband supposed to unlock all previous quest rewards and whatnot, like pre-kata ones? I got about 10 appearances only. It was, yes. But other people have also reported that that didn't really work. So... It was not a flawless system yesterday. 'Twas many issues. So I wanted to double check Jula crafting, as it appears the leveling path might have slightly changed. But let's double check where we stand on this and see how, if or what anything has changed. So we need dual in fact, let's buy some goodies. Probably gonna need we're probably not gonna need concentration, but we'll buy one of those anyway. I know roughly what materials I need. I need bismuth times billions.
Greetings.
Good 1,000 of bismuth. Let's just buy 1,000 of all of them. Can't really remember if I need much of these. Oh, they've changed the icon on the alloys, look. Oh, they look much better. They look much better. I can now buy crushed gemstones at all 3 ranks of this dude as well. I think that's new. That's actually handy. I'm gonna need 4 to 40 stacks of that. There's 1,000 of that. Grab a gnomish army knife. I think that's pretty much all we need. Although, the reason we're doing this is because I think it's changed, so... Tool crafting. Out on the bars.
I've been expecting you.
Oh, look, yes, there's numbers places. Oh, they have changed this. Okay, our leveling path for jewel crafting is going to be different. This, boys and girls, is why I haven't done any YouTube videos on this yet. I absolutely knew it was all going to change. Absolutely knew it was all going to change. So, we are likely to... Well, let's see what my previous path was. Skill 1 to 10, prospect a shitload of ore. I don't think that's really going to change. Although, you do have the option straight away to just go straight into crafting stuff. Which, from a cost perspective, might be the way to go. But let's assume that we do it self-sufficiently. Is that a word? It is now. I've made it one. Let's see how far some prospecting gets us then. And if they've changed prospecting rates. You get prospecting to skill 10. Prospecting seems to go further now. Is it worth going further with it? You're going to need the materials in theory anyway. So I'm willing to say just keep pumping. You can get some skill points from prospecting. You might as well, because you're going to do it eventually anyway. Go on. Turn grey. 15. 15. Oh, the game hates me. Wow, this last point. This last point doesn't exist. It genuinely doesn't. There we go. Right, 1 to 15 we're going to prospect then. 1 to 15. Let's make a slight tweak there. Oh, the irony is we're probably going to craft the engraved gem cutters all the same anyway, because we're going to need them to cut the gems in a minute all the same. So actually, even though they have changed this a little bit, it doesn't actually make a huge difference to what we play with. Unless, instead of going straight into cutting gems, we amber cuts from 15 to 50. They go yellow at 40. Ah, now these are yellow straight away at 15. So they've clearly decided that, hang on, using ambers to level up all the way was dumb. Good. Good. That makes a lot of sense. Glad they killed the Azurite, the AA gains from treasures. Yeah, you and me both. You and me both. There's still room to move for people that want to do, you know, that want to push. You can push forward, but you can't push weeks forward. You can push days forward, which I think is more fair. Okay, so Radiant Loops. The theory also comes quite quickly now that we can consider green profession gear for leveling up. Now, you're going to want to probably make some of this for yourself anyway. Yet what you won't have had access to straight away is rubies if you're prospecting. You only get rubies from prospecting, I believe it's Ironclaw. Can't remember. You prospect bismuth for amber, you prospect Ironclaw for rubies and onyx gems, yeah. You're not necessarily going to have crushed gemstones right now, but if you were looking at just buying materials and doing this after the launch, then you can go the path of least resistance. Probably want to craft one of these because you're going to want one anyway. The alternative is you've already bought your green tools off the auction house off somebody else. But let's assume you just play the game. You're not going to be crushing. Oh, 10 bismuth on crushing. That's more. That's more. Wasn't crushing. Oh, hello. I actually hadn't done much info on crushing specifically. Okay, I'm pretty sure they've bumped that up to 10. I'm relatively sure that wasn't like that. That makes a world of difference. That's going to hoover up a shitload of cheap stuff. Crushing's had the skill fixed as well. You can now actually reach quality 3. Oh, okay. Well, that also then makes a world of difference. You can actually get to a. You can now guarantee. Okay, yeah, because that had some serious long-term knock-on effects. That did, because that was going to completely break the Gilded Vial supply, which would completely break all of Alchemy. I put that forward as a bug report a few weeks ago. Yeah, alchemists not being able to get Gilded Vials at quality 3 for less than $1 million would have been a problem. So I'm glad they've addressed that. But I'm pretty sure that's gone up from a small number to a big number now, which is going to throw the maths off on getting. That's going to throw your maths off for getting the crushed gemstones. Okay, we are still likely wanting to. There's no denying that because of the crushed gemstones, that could be expensive. Engraved gem cutters, we're probably going to want to still produce some of these anyway. You're going to use some of the pebbles. You're going to use some of the glass that you've just prospected. We're going to need to make a bunch of these all the same. I don't think my plan changes too much there. But I'm wondering if we need to squeeze in making one of these somewhere. No, I'm going to suggest people just buy their green shit off the auction house. Off somebody that's already done it. I'll put that in the shopping list for professions. Buy one of each of the green shit. Pick quality ones, it doesn't matter. You're going to replace them anyway. Alright, can we get like 15 to... How far can this go? Okay, this is going to go grey by 20. That's fine. We're now not, by the looks of things, diving straight into crafting gems, which is an interesting twist. Okay, I'm going to have to put more thought to this than I first expected. Let me take a quick bathroom break, and then we'll break this apart completely. As dual crafting leveling has completely changed, which is cool. I'll be back in 2. Okay. You focus on your guide on the fastest or the cheapest way, or also include first crafts whilst they give skill points. I prioritize cost. So my goal is to keep the cost of leveling the professions to a minimum. Now, obviously, that's very difficult to plan for ahead of time because we don't know what everything's going to cost. But luckily, playing the game for billions of years, I can somewhat accurately say this is probably going to be cheaper than this. The reason being, I know you'll find a lot of leveling guides out there that will be like, craft one of everything, which is not a terrible way of doing things. Other than, if you level nice and quickly, and you level at a low cost, and you level optimally on price first, then you can always go back and craft everything for the first time. And the benefit of doing it that way round is that when you go back and you craft everything for the first time, there's a very strong chance that thing you craft, you will be crafting it at a higher quality. Meaning you are significantly more likely to then be able to sell that to recuperate those costs. If you do it when you first get access to a recipe, you're making quality 1 shit that literally nobody wants, and in most cases you put straight in the bin. So it's all about sort of minimizing cost initially. You can obviously do it whichever way you want, but to answer the question, I tend to prioritize price. That's the focus anyway. I'll check NPC crafting orders, see if there are any that can be worked on into the leveling. If there are sticky situations, yeah, that's probably not a terrible idea. But I certainly wouldn't sort of... I wouldn't... Same again, really, with the NPC work orders. You probably want to level your profession first. It's not like they're going anywhere. You want to level your profession first, as it's going to mean you're going to have an easier time hitting the quality requirements. This comes once you've leveled, in my opinion. So, right, where did we get to? We got to skill 20. We got to 20 via making some gem cutters again. The question is do we make more of these just because we know we're going to need more of these? Or, well, maybe not if we're not directly cutting gems. Now we're going to have to actually craft a few more bits and pieces and maybe do a little bit more shufflies. Now we're in the world where actually everything starts to get a little bit more expensive. It starts to feel like gilded vials might be the play here, just on price. Because crafting any of these is great, but 30 crushed gemstones is, without question, significantly more than 3. The ambers you will get from prospecting, the glass you can get from prospecting, plus this will be basically free on the auction house because it doesn't get used that much. So yeah, the better plan of action here is just to do vials, I would guess, up to skill 30 now. Okay, so the path has definitely changed. You can always give them to your enchanter for profession knowledge. Oh yeah, if it's like pieces of gear. But it's like if you're, if you're crafting level 1 reagents and stuff, and nobody want any of that, honestly. There are some people who are focused on selling low quality items even higher than the max price. Yeah, that's just a weird thing that sometimes naturally happens. I don't think people go too far out of their way to try and achieve that, though. But you're right. Sometimes the prices of lower quality stuff ends up being higher than the higher quality stuff, but that's another discussion on supply and demand. I'm still thinking the cheapest is definitely going to be vials at this point. They only take ambers, which is significantly cheaper. A very small amount of gemstones relative to any other option, which is lots of gemstones, lots of gemstones, lots of gemstones, lots of gemstones, and slightly more. There's an argument to say the Incanter Shards is not a bad one, depending on how much the Gleaming Shards end up being. But I would still suspect a Gleaming Shard is going to cost more than 6 glittering glass. Yeah, most definitely. Okay, so we are going to need to prospect more. I'm still thinking that prospecting bismuth is the play here still in terms of keeping it cheap. Obviously, prospecting bismuth is not going to get us any of the rare gems, which might make the cutting a little bit more difficult later. We now need to prospect a bunch to get a bunch of pebbles and a bunch of glass. And preferably more ambers. We can get more ambers by re-prospecting the pebbles. We need 5 crafts of this, potentially. Although this might change when we get to skill 25 or 26. Might start making some of these things instead. Originally, I stated prospect about 500 bismuth. Get this out of the way now. You'll need to do some more later, but this will get us the materials needed for the next parts. Still feeling that that's probably the smart move. So now we need some crushed gemstones. The quickest and best way to get crushed gemstones is to crush ambers. 3 ambers and 10 bismuth. Gave us 2 crushed gemstones. Reprospect the pebbles will give us more ambers. Getting exact numbers for this is always going to be a bit of a challenge because both prospecting and crushing has got obvious RNG built into it. But if we make some of these, I suspect these are going to go yellow very quick. 2 points, 4 points, 6 points. Oh, still guaranteeing 2. Oh, that means we are probably going to continue this all the way to 30 then. Unless something really attractive comes out of this. Decorative lens, 2 ambers, 4 gems, 10 glass. Well, you're still going to do gilded vials then, because it's cheaper. Inverted prism is ridiculous. We're not going to craft that whilst leveling. The only other options we got, put some more stuff down here. Storyteller's glass, that's pretty cheap. 4 and 2. Unless those... Well, it's not, is it? Because you got the combined cost of both of these. Four and 1. No, I think you're going to make gilded vials all the way up to skill 30. Warband's active. Do we have a quest to unlock it? Warbands are active, but the Warband bank is still closed. Still offline. You can you'll have an automatic quest pop up that takes you over to Gadget Zan. Once you've done it on one character, though, you've done it. It's you only ever need to do it once. Bit late to the pre-patch. Which things are broken? It's easier to tell you the things that aren't broken. That's it. That's the list. Yep. Background music isn't broken. Nice. Yeah, that's literally it. Every thaumaturgy transmute is now 3 gleaming transmutagen. I'm pretty sure this kills the blasphemite market. Well, the transmutes are a once a day thing, so that's 3 per day. The thing that kills it real dead is that they've fixed that node that gives you a gleaming every time you use thaumaturgy. As soon as you unlock that, it's GG. You just prospect. You just thaumaturgize a bunch of shit. You press the button 80 times and you make a blasphemite. I'm pretty convinced that's oh, the regular thaumaturgy is giving 3 as well. Oh, not even the transmute, just the. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Then it's GG. Well played. Then thaumaturgy done. Game over. There's going to be no real limitation on price then. If everyone is giving you 3, that's like 400, 500 roughly of any material. Quick maths. 500 of anything you can get your hands on equals a blasphemite. 500 quality 1 bismuth is like going to be pennies. Good spot. Good spot. Well done. I'd long since put much hope on the blasphemite market, honestly. I think thaumaturgy will be more useful now for converting one type of material into another, and those who understand the maths that goes into that will probably be able to buy up certain materials, thaumaturgize them, and then spit out materials that are worth more. It will kind of have an interesting twist on the market prices of things. Because when certain things get too, you know, the fact that those materials won't strictly be linked in any way, shape or form naturally, then when one gets too far ahead or one gets too cheap, alchemists will be able to buy it up to convert it into the other and sort of rotate and shuffle things about. I think that's more the direction for thaumaturgy now. I think the blasphemites will just be a happy byproduct. There's fear not though if you have an alchemy alt army. There's still plenty for you to do. You just might have to put a bit more thought into it. What do I need? More gemstones. Gonna eat up all the cheap mats. The market will figure out the price. Yeah, I'm not greatly surprised. I generally think it's a good thing. An alt army for every craft impacted by concentration, it's fine. Yeah, exactly. Literally every single item in the game is going to be limited by concentration for the most part. So your alt army can't lose. Genuinely can't lose, but you're less likely to spec all of your alchemists into thaumaturgy. You might have one that can do this material shuffle, have it on a second account, have it AFK in the background, converting materials from one type to another, but I don't think you're going to have a billion thaumaturgy alts all churning out blasphemites anymore. I wonder, I wonder if it was whether that... I wonder what Blizzard's initial, on the drawing board design for it originally was. I wonder if that was always the intention, or whether, content creators, goblins, got the wrong end of the stick with the thaumaturgy thing. I don't know. We need the ambers. Now we need more glass. This is actually quite a lot of jiggery pokery that you got to do now, even to get like... Jewel crafting was always not straightforward. Although it was artificially straightforward by the fact that you could just cut amber gems all the way to skill 50. Now they've actually built some thinking into 1 to 50. I need 6, 12, oh, I need 18 glass. Going. Price doesn't matter too much since you get so many materials back with thaumaturgy as well. Yeah, that's also the point. You know, whatever it costs you to buy let's just call it 500 materials for the sake of maths. Whatever it costs you to buy 500 materials, you'll also get a bunch of materials back. So let's say it costs you 5,000 gold to buy 500 materials, which quality 1 materials will be in the single digit golds very quickly, if not basically from day one. You spend 5,000 gold, then you get 4,000 gold of material back, meaning you've got 4,000 gold of materials to then go and sell, plus a blasphemite. I shit you not, blasphemites would be the best part of free. There was one point on the beta, in the really early days of the beta, where I think I calculated blasphemites could easily end up costing about 40 gold a piece. Which, that was the point where I was like, maybe this isn't going to be the market people think it might be. And every time we've had a new build, they've been easier and easier and easier and easier to produce. So, yeah. We'll test alchemy a little bit, but unfortunately not today. I haven't got time to do everything today. In fact, technically, I've not really got too much longer to stream even today. I wanted to catch up with the news and see what was going on, but I'm not able to stream particularly long today. Did we figure out what the concentration regen speed is? Lots of reports of, lots of talk is that it's 10 per hour, which sort of ties in with what I've seen. It's about 48 hours for the full bar to recharge. Right, Gilded Vials up to skill 30 seems to be a win. Do either of these things then become smart things to make? Yes. Yes. This is interesting, you know. This is reverted back to... The leveling path for this has reverted... Almost reverted back to a really early build. This seems to be exactly the same as a really early build of the beta, where you would actually produce the jewellery quite heavily. And they've gone back to that route. They switched it at some point to say, hey, make some amber cuts instead. Now they've switched it back to say, make a bunch of jewellery instead. Now, considering maybe this is where we are going to start prospecting some, whichever ends up being the cheapest out of Aquarite and Ironclaw, which is definitely going to be Ironclaw, by the way. So whatever we get by prospecting Ironclaw, hang on, let's adjust this a touch. Get to skill 15 by prospecting bismuth. We went from 15 to 20. 15 to 20 making engraved gem cutters. We went 20 to 30. 20 to 30 by making the gilded vials. And yellow at skill. Okay. At skill 25, you unlock just a skill tree. Skill 30 up until probably... We got to get all the way to skill 50 before we get the last trainer recipe. The fact that this leveling path has reverted back to what was an old beta build version of the leveling path kind of makes me think that it wasn't meant to. This is strongly giving me the suspicion that it wasn't meant to. And that next week I'm going to log on and they'll have put it back to the changed version. I'm kind of half wondering if doing all of this is worth it. Because I suspect this might be a whoops, we didn't mean to do that Control-Z situation. Because this is exactly how leveling jewel crafting was once upon a time. And then they changed it. By the way, 10 per hour was 48 hours when it was still 500 concentration. It should be 96 hours now with 1,000 concentration. Oh, wait, hang on. Yeah, you, you might be right. Oh, in that case, I ain't got a flipping clue. That's a really good question. That's a really good point. Yeah, that's only 240 a day at that rate, isn't it? That's a 4-day recharge. That's a really good point. Maybe Blizzard do listen to me. Maybe Blizzard are listening. Hi, Blizzard devs. Lurking in the background, maybe. I've been peddling the fact that it recharges too fast for weeks. That is the case. Test it out on live. Yeah, I mean, if some people can throw some science to it on live. It's easy to test now. Prospect Iron Claw a little bit. Skill 30 to 50. Skill 30 to 50, we make like 10 of these things. Yeah, I am convinced this is exactly the same leveling path that was originally on the beta, which they'd already changed. I don't know what they're doing internally with the beta builds, but they seem to have made some changes and some of them seem to have reverted back to old versions. This one seems to be, it's gone backwards. Because if you need 10 Radiant Rubies, there ain't no way you're going to prospect for that yourself. Not early days. 4 days recharge, more in line with current cooldown recharging, so you don't have to log in every day for those little who have time to... Yeah, this is one of my big things about concentration, is that it's meant to be something that you put careful thought into where you spend it. And you don't feel the need to have to put careful thought into where you spend it if you're constantly fighting to stop the bar being full. Think about it how most players probably play this game. They've either got school or work or whatever during the day, and then they sit down in the evening to play some video games. They sit down, they might open their professions in the evening, they might choose to craft some stuff in the evening, take that, use a bunch of their concentration, and then they log out before they go to bed. And under normal circumstances, it could be almost 24 hours before they log back on again. If in that 24-hour period, half your concentration has come back to you, you only need to not play the game for 1 day before your bar will be completely capped. If you, for whatever reason, take 1 day off from playing World of Warcraft, your concentration bar is then full again. Meaning lots of players will just consistently be if it's a 2-day recharge, you're going to be consistently fighting to stop it from being full. Which seems to be counterproductive to how the system, I feel, is meant to work. Where you're meant to carefully decide where you use your concentration. And if you choose to use your concentration on something, you should know quite quickly that it's going to be a day or two before you're going to get it back. So in a scenario where it takes if it takes 4 days to fully recharge, if you only get 240 a day, it means if you spend 200 of it guaranteeing a craft at quality 5 for yourself or for a guildmate or somebody in trade chat, that's a day's worth of stuff. 24 hours worth of stuff, right? So if 250 concentration is an entire day's worth. You're going to want to charge like 10, 15, 20,000 gold for that. Because that's you can only press the button once a day. That's the kind of the point there, right? And the point will be is that everybody will want everybody to press the button on reset day when they get their spark for the week. You might be able to craft 4 things for somebody quickly. This is assumption that it's 250 concentration, which is not always the case. And your goal is to try and reduce the amount of concentration you have to use so that you can craft more. But it starts to not matter if it recharges too quick. If you're always fighting to stop it from being full, then it's no longer something you carefully choose. It's something that you frantically just give away and get as much for it as you possibly can, which doesn't make sense. It never did make sense. I can already hear the voices. You only push 1 button. Yeah. Just press a button. I have a default response to that. I don't do many work orders, but the reality is if you're just pressing a button, it's like, oh cool, well go press the button then. See ya. like I instantly peace out. I don't need your gold that badly. You go press the button. If it's just a button press, go press it. Oh, what? You don't have the button? Oh, I see. Well, I do have the button. So, yeah, I love that. I love that argument. I've got such an instantly good comeback for it. I don't need to press the button. It doesn't cost me anything to not press the button. Go download the button. Yeah, go download some more RAM. Do it. Off you go. I'm kind of tempted to not update my guide for this yet, because I'm pretty convinced this is going to change again next week. Let's assume Let's assume that it doesn't. And I think the reason they changed from this build is because it's almost impossible to be self-sufficient as a junk crafter. Because your rate of getting gems... Does this... Hang on, does this mean that they've adjusted... Oh, there'll be one easy way to test if this is completely broken, busted, is to check my very, very small amount of prospecting data that I have. And see if the prospecting changes been reverted. And my prospecting data was based on a max build character. Where's my max build junk crafter? Oh, you hear voices too? Yes. Pressing the button 1 gold, access to the button 999 gold. Exactly. Exactly. Right, let me take 1,000 bismuth, prospect it, see if I get what I expect to get. If the prospecting changes have also been reverted, it would be a really strong indication to me that they've just ballsed up with the build. They've somehow reverted half the junk crafting changes back to a previous build, which would not surprise me. 1,000 bismuth should get me somewhere in the region of 200 pebbles. Somewhere in the region of about 15 to 20 crushed gemstones. About 50 glass. And about 10 gems each on average. Okay, it doesn't actually look like the prospecting changes have been reverted. It seems to be about where I'd expect it to be. So I'm thinking maybe this was a deliberate move. I don't know. I'm at the point where I don't know. This is far too much like hard work one day before I go on vacation. Thoughts on tailoring enchanting or jewel crafting enchanting on a main lock? I'm torn, so I need an external party to help with my decision. It would be worth pointing out that, at least for the first season of Dragonflight, yes, you can pair up 2 crafting professions, but you are going to have to pick one. You are 100 times better funneling as much as you can into one profession as you are to splitting across both. So if you do go... It sounds like enchanting is kind of pretty set in stone, but I'm wondering if you're using enchanting for, like, gathering purposes or to disenchant shit. In essence, the question really is, do you pick tailoring or jewel crafting? The answer is, which one you're going to prefer playing with. Reality is that pick which one you prefer. But go into it with the mindset of that you really should be focusing on one profession. You know, you can use those 2 professions to do stuff, fill orders and stuff, but you should probably funnel all your artisan security, for example, into boosting one. Until you've got that first one, like, done. Am I going anywhere nice? I'm off to London for a few days. I have a wedding to go to on Saturday, which is the primary reason for the vacation. But we're staying in London for a couple of extra days after. Just because I need a holiday. Truth be told. I'm going to go to restaurants and eat nice food 3 times a day for a couple of days, and then I'm going to fly home again. Yeah, prospecting rates seem to be about the same. So in that case, I actually have no idea what Blizzard are doing. So maybe these changes are not as unintended as they look. When will I be back? We fly back on Wednesday. Whether I stream or not on Thursday is dependent on how tired I am. And how eager I am to get back into stuff. And how the pre-patch event is going. Send food pics on the Discord. Oh yeah, for sure. You got to take food pics. Or Dan would approve. R.I.P. Try the white sauce, as he says. Yeah, both me and the wife are a little bit of a... We like our good food. We like our good food. We're going to a... What's it called? Hawkstone? Hawkstone? Where's my UK crew at? Called Hawkstone? Proper steakhouse in London. It's a chain, to be fair, but we're going there on Sunday. I'm not going to say which one, but we're going to one. Don't hunt me down. Proper meat, innit, bruv? Yeah. Filthy Sunday lunch. Yeah, fish and chips. Yeah, I'm literally going to come back about 3 stone heavier because we're going there. One, I'm going there for a wedding, so I'm going to be consuming copious amounts of both food and alcohol, which is never good. Then we're going to be eating for 3 days, and then we fly home. That's basically our plan. That's the plan, realistically. Then once we do get back, it's all hands on deck, go 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 mode. This is why I can't focus or concentrate on anything today, because I'm so close to being on vacation mode that I'm not very competent at doing anything today, honestly. Sounds like my kind of holiday. Yeah. I think I'm not so fussed about doing particularly stuff. Obviously, I'm going to London. I lived in the UK for 25 years plus of my life. Right? I lived there for plenty of time. It's not like I haven't seen the place. We're not too fussed about going and seeing things. The wife wants to go to the National History Museum, but that's because she likes history and she's never been there. I went there about 12 times as a kid, every single school holiday in the UK. You remember those school trips you would go on? If you were from the UK, you went to the National History Museum at least 4 times. So I'm not fussed about going there, but in between meals, we'll go look at some shit that we stole hundreds of years ago. That's the plan. Okay, yeah, Dawn crafting is... You get to skill 50 by making bands. The likelihood is this is going to take you all the way to 100 if you can get your hands on it. Second to that, you are just going to fight your way forward. Spec trees. You say you live in Finland, but you fit every British cliche, in my opinion. That in it was peak. Well, I am English. Just because I live in a different country, you can take the British out of England, but you can't take the I don't know what the phrase is there, but I'm up north, so I didn't. Although I think Drayton Manor 3 times beats the History Museum. Oh, we definitely went to Drayton Manor a few times as well. That flipping... What was that? What's the ride at Drayton Manor? The one that... The big tower that just drops you. That flipping thing. Nearly sat on a bollock going on that one. Not a fan of that place. Nothing looks to have changed in here, which is good. I don't want them messing around with my spec trees unless they absolutely have to. 100 resourcefulness when crafting glass reagents. They would just balance change numbers, it's fine. When you live in the north, it's Hadrian's Wall a million times. Well, I was from the Midlands, as you can probably... I don't know, anybody from the UK will probably pick up on the accent. Was a smooth move buying out all the enchanted Wraith bark at 50 gold apiece. Stonks. Yeah, I deliberately kept away from the auction house yesterday because I knew I'd get a bit carried away, and I also knew that I can't. I've spent so much time in the beta, I practically can't remember what half of the shit is in Dragonflight anymore. My brain has moved on. But I know there are definitely some people out there that were having a field day buying out Quality 3 stuff and relisting it. A goblin will do goblin things if near the auction house. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Soon as an artificial limitation comes into play. I do worry, though, that it was just goblins buying and selling off other goblins. There's no actual demand for any of this rubbish. If they'd given people remix characters, it might have been a different story. But with remix characters only having like 3 days before the actual launch, I can't really see much happening with those. Okay, prospecting Ironclaw ore to get these rare gems is also terrible. Terrible. I forgot how bad you are as a prospector until you spec into it. You are offensively bad. This is why get a shopping list, buy the shit off somebody else who's already done it. Because doing this is not going to be the cheap route. I know people like to be somewhat self-sufficient and use the profession to level up their profession where possible. Use base materials and, you know, actually press buttons. But pressing buttons is the wrong decision, I think. Unless you are going for, like, Realm First Jawncrafter. Which you're likely not going to be, because if you're doing anything even remotely optimized with your professions, you're going to wait a couple of days before you actually go and fill the bar. You're waiting a couple of days because you're probably... You may be cycling professions first. You may be leveling to 80 first. You may be doing other things. There's no real reason to be realm first crafters. You've got 10 days before it's important. What are we missing? Crush gemstones. We can crush some of these. How long for the vacation? I get back next Wednesday. So, a little under a week. Although, considering I'm streaming today and the next stream will probably be next Thursday, practically a week. Do these go yellow anytime soon? If these end up going yellow as well. 6, 8. They've changed the icon for this, though. It's had an icon change. Didn't always look like this. Pretty sure in a previous build it didn't have the same icon. It does kind of make me think that they've switched it back deliberately. Oh, I don't know what's going on now. Much confused. That's another... Straight up another ruby. Oh, it doesn't go yellow. Good. Okay. Going fine. Okay, we still need to prospect more. Do you unlock the weekly knowledge point quests at 70? There isn't weekly knowledge point quests. That's the first thing I'll point out. There is weekly work order quests, which you have to do an intro quest first, but what's hard to determine is whether that's an account-wide unlock or not. To read a bit deeper into your question, you can do pretty much everything at level 70. If you are looking to like collect all the recipes and stuff, you're gonna need to do some leveling at some point. There are gonna be some recipes that might be behind in delves. There might be some recipes that are located here, there, and everywhere. But for the most part, you can do most things at 70. Gathering has some like weekly turn-ins for a couple of knowledge points, but I've been able to do those at level 70. Or crushed gemstones. No, there's no strict rush to level up profession characters. You can quite comfortably chill at level 70. Just, you know, you'll probably want to you'll want to level them up eventually at some point anyway, but it's a low priority. The Azurite speed sets are broken right now. Longstrider is giving you 223 movement speed. Is so much fun. I saw some people getting like 400 plus movement speed running, which is another one that unfortunately it's fun and it's broken and it'll be hot fixed before I get to play with it. So use it while you can. Take full advantage of it right now. Go do some mog. This is mog farming week anyway. I'm pissing around on the beta, but you guys should be out there mog farming. This week is absolutely mog farming week. Get your speed set out. Go run through some like relatively recent raids. Go do some like BFA raids. Go do some Legion raids.
Sweet profit together.
The raw gold potential from even doing that is also broken right now, so it's absolutely definitely worth just go farm some transmog. You'll make 20k gold an hour just farming transmog, whether you get the things you're looking for or not. Bit busted. Impressed, thank you very much for the prime. Appreciate that, thank you. Previously in beta, you had to be 80 to get your first weekly quest for professions. It's an adventure mode unlock once you've got a level 80 character. So yeah, okay, maybe with some slight clarification, you're going to need to level one character. You can't go hardcore goblin mode. Get a character to 80, but that's absolutely the first thing you should do is get your first character to 80. Because that unlocks adventure mode, which basically means any of your alts have access to the end game stuff. You got to get one level 80 first. What's 4 times 5? 20. I need a lot more. We re-prospect the pebbles. Need a lot more ambers. One-time acuity removed for the open world treasures. Don't know if this is good or bad. It's good for absolutely everybody. The people who think it's bad don't know what they're talking about. I'll argue my point on that all day long. The people who are arguing it's bad are mostly gatekeeping, because they're willing to do sweaty things and want an advantage over others. The fairer system and the better gameplay decision was absolutely to nerf it, and I'm glad they did. Can't decide whether to start farming for mogs. Probably do some mount runs at least. Whatever you're doing, like, this week is a really good week to just potter around and take full advantage of, like, the new transmog changes. Go collect some mounts and stuff. Raw gold is off the charts right now. They've broken all of the vendor prices for everything. The chances are is that that will probably stick around for a little while as well, because it's not going to be a very high priority fix, because they are desperately trying to get warbands to work, or the war bank to work. That's their #1 priority right now. Everything else is kind of like they'll fix it when they get around to fixing it. But it means, yeah, speed sets are busted OP. War gold via just vendoring stuff is broken right now. Go ham. They've hotfixed the raw gold and the item vendor values. Oh, have they? Have they already hotfixed it? Wow. Maybe it's a reasonably high priority then. Okay. We go 5 more of these. Please don't go yellow. We need to get to skill 50. Oh god, it goes yellow at 46. Green at 47. Ugh, okay. Gross. Gross. They've made getting to 50 a chore again. Absolute chore. Even if you flip and unlock your cuts, they've made getting to skill 50 in jewel crafting a chore. This is reverted back to how it used to be. I'm still 50% convinced that this is just a whoops and they'll undo it in the next build again. Alright. I'm willing to assume it is a whoops. Don't know if it's different from Dragonflight, but in Dragonflight you needed to complete the campaign and have a character at cap to get adventure mode. So might need to do the campaign first. Yes, but that's how you get your first character to 80. Yeah, you probably shouldn't be getting your first character to 80 by running dungeons or delves or something particularly. Just do the campaign the first time. There was... The adventure mode unlock was the very first quest in the end game campaign. Its only requirements, I think the only requirements were for you to be level 80. But the quest might not necessarily even be there if you haven't finished the campaign the first time either. Dare I say it, play the game for the first day or so. play the campaign, level up, get to level 80, unlock adventure mode, and then you can practically do whatever you want on your alts. Mantheus and Zanzaful are of the opinion that everything will be unlocked to early access except for Mythic Plus and Raids. I don't really know what they're going to lock behind early access. There was original, like, very casual speak of profession knowledge not being accessible. This was in an interview way back, though. And since that, we've had basically radio silence on the whole thing. So, who knows? The reality is that even being able to play the game, whatever you do in those 4 days, if you are trying to decide whether it's an advantage or not to get the early access, just playing the game, just having access to the game means you get 4 days to do anything you want. And then people who turn up late have 4 days to catch up to the point that you are with whatever it was you did. Whether that be leveling characters, whether that be farming reputation, whether that be investigating delves, whether that be learning the lay of the land, whether that be doing some herbalism and mining, maybe that's finding the broken, overpowered hyperspawn farms before they're nerfed. There's absolutely no way they can ever create an early access period without there being a tangible advantage. It's not possible. It's just not possible. And this is another one of those things where I wish Blizzard had just stopped standing on the fence. I wish Blizzard would just stand back and go, yeah, you get to play the game 4 days early. If you want, you can play it 4 days early, or you can join in 4 days later, but you're going to be 4 days behind. Like, I wish they'd just, I wish they'd have the balls to say it like it is, rather than try and sugarcoat it and go, oh no, we're going to take some stuff out so it's not an advantage. It's always an advantage. You can't give people access to a game 4 days early and then claim that they don't have an advantage. That's just dumb. Of course they have an advantage. It's so silly. It's so silly the direction they're taking it. They're trying to pull the wool over people's eyes. They're trying to appease everybody. It's not possible. It's not possible. You give people a 96-hour head start, whatever they do in those 96 hours is the advantage over the people that haven't done it. Even if there's no player power gains to be had particularly, that in itself is a ludicrous statement. Well, after 4 days, after 4 days early access, I could easily have 4 level 80 characters. I think that's quite a player power advantage over you level 70s that haven't started yet. It's mental. It's mental to even claim that there won't be player power. They're just kind of like painting a picture of that there won't be an advantage, so hopefully some people can go, oh, it's okay, it's okay. I don't have to feel bad for playing 4 days late. It doesn't make any sense to me. If you think about it for more than 2 minutes, you realise that early access isn't an optional thing. If you play the game in any form of competitive way, this is why I don't like early access in an MMO. Because an MMO is naturally competitive. It is literally the "this is fine" burning room meme. Yeah, very much. Are you saying we auction the transmogs or vendor them? No, you at the moment you just go out transmog farming, completing your own collection. I'm not talking about transmog farming for the purpose of selling shit. I hate that business. Go out and complete your own collection. This week is transmog farming week. Farm up a bunch of transmog. Any soulbound stuff you get, just vendor it. You'll make a bunch. Plus, you'll pad out your own transmog collection for all of you and your alts. if you're like me and absolutely 100% don't care about transmog, then you don't do it. But yeah, you're not the goal making side of things is just that all of the soulbound stuff that you then vendor adds up slowly. But there's nothing else to do this week because the rest of it's broken. So I had no plans on using the early access. I expect to have a few weeks recovery time before the War Within released. I'd use it if you have access to it, but if you're having an operation on the 29th, then it's probably best to rest up. Probably best to rest up. Has the post level 50 changed much here? It looks like Blasphemite cuts, where have they gone, are potentially rewarding multiple skill points now. The War Within dungeons. Oh, they've updated these. That's interesting. They were tagged as world drop until recently. Now they've actually said that they come from the War Within dungeons. I wonder if they've changed anything else. The Fractured Gemstone Locket. That was something that you could loot before. That changed. No, still claims to come from Heavy Trunks in Delves. About the Ring of Binding. Binding of Bindings. Still from the Theatre event. Okay. The other ones you have to spec into. 150, 150, 150, probably 150 as well. On the topic of vendor gold of items, some still have big amounts. I wouldn't say it's quote-unquote fixed. Well, the reason is because they upped the item level of everything. There's a whole band of gear that went from item level 180 to about 300 or something. And the vendor value for stuff is quite closely linked to the item level of it. So when they jacked up the item level, the vendor value of it all blew through the roof as well. So at some point, it may be an easy fix where they just, twiddle a knob, or worst case scenario, they have to go back in and manually do something to nuke the vendor values of all this stuff again. But it's a byproduct of the scaling system, ultimately. They can flick a switch and they can scale a whole bunch of items up in item level. The blessing of this fantastic scaling system they have. The downside is that it scales everything. It scales the item level, it scales the stats on them, it scales the vendor value of them. Which is why you can run around and pick up a huge amount of raw gold right now, if you really wish.
Walk with the earth.
Boys and girls, I'm just twiddling my thumbs on beta right now. I can't focus or concentrate on anything because I'm far too close to vacation mode. I did say it was going to be a shorter stream today, and it definitely is, because I think I'm going to call it there for now. I've got a few things I need to get sorted. I want to update a few things in the guide before I go away. So I'm going to get that done, as I don't have too much time left today. So, I will see you in a week. Probably next Thursday is likely to be the next stream. That also is probably going to mean that it's going to be a little quiet over on YouTube as well, as I haven't actually planned any content to come out like I probably should have done. So it's going to be a little bit quiet for me, but I'm going to hopefully come back nicely refreshed and ready to blast into the War Within, get the final weeks of beta out the way, get the pre-patch event done, get our characters all in order. Hopefully by the time I come back, everything is fixed, because it's busted now. But yeah, I will still be lurking in the Discord. I will still be present in the Discord, so you can come say hi over there if needs be. Keep me updated with what's going on. But yeah, thanks for sticking around. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hitting all of the buttons, subs, the bits, the follows, all of that sort of good stuff. I appreciate all. Thank you very, very much. For whilst I am gone, if you are interested, the Goblin Guide to the War Within is in pretty good shape. It's obviously week on week needing to have some fine adjustments to it, but pretty much everything you could possibly want to know about the War Within from a Goblin perspective is in here now. Some, what is it, 336 pages? What's the word count? This always scares me. The word count on this bad boy. 28,000 words. There you go. There you go. The War and Peace Goblin Edition. This is available to my Patreons. Gold Goblins over on Patreon. Those who have been generous enough to support me. This is available to you guys over there. Feel free to check it out if you wish. This is something that will continue on with us as well into the War Within as new stuff develops. So, yeah, check that out if you wish. Come say hi in the Discord, and I'll see you in a week. Have a good one, boys and girls. Peace.